Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Olympic Sevens. This one, Australia taking on Ireland. Now, at the moment, Australia have won both of their contests on day one, looking to add to that tally, make it 3 from 3 for day two. Then, for the Irish, they did suffer a defeat in their opening contest. They had a good win over South Africa, though, and as they build towards those quarterfinals, which they are more than likely going to be through to, it's going to be intriguing to see who is going to be matched up with who as we make our way through this Olympics competition. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Australians, it will be Tarita, Faith Nathan, Dominique Dutoit, the captain, Levi. They've got Madison and Tegan in the starting side. Soraya Parky and also Isabella Nassar, the last lady, in the starting side. For the Irish, they have got Stacey Flood, Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, Parsons, Megan Burns, Eve Higgins, Erin King and Emily Lane as they just kick off the contest. We were a little bit late starting this one, even though we did make it ahead of schedule, I guess you could say. They just started this game right on the button of when it was supposed to take place, but nicely taken by the Australians, who will be in the possession of the ball early. Now, I should mention there is no Mulhull Rock anymore, and that is going to be a brilliant step from Faith Nathan to go straight through the gap and score the early try for Australia. 21 seconds is all it took for the Aussies to get themselves their first try of the contest. But yeah, no Mulhull Rock due to the injury on day one, which does mean Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe does take that captaincy. That's a fast score, says Anoy. It certainly was. This should be a good match. And come on, ladies, pull off a shock against Australia, says Alden. Now, I have to say that was about the worst possible start for Ireland to have in a game that they did want to cause that upset. They are $12 underdogs in this match, damn, says Alden. But yeah, not quite the start that they were after, but that does not mean it can't improve for Ireland throughout this game. But Faith Nathan doing well. That one's gone over from Tegan, Levi, and hi Hamish, hope you're well. Blackburn Sevens are looking dominant so far, says John. Yeah, I do see that they will be playing more than likely the third place. I want to say there's about 3 sides that they could be playing in the quarters, but pretty much because they are a part of Pool A, they will play the 8th ranked qualifier, if that makes sense. So the second best third place team is who New Zealand will be playing. So they might find themselves up against China again. And I mean, the People's Republic of China up against Fiji were phenomenal in that contest. So I'm very curious to see who matches up with who. It could be Brazil, could be Japan possibly, making their way forward. Nice tackle on Stacey Flood there from Australia. That will be the penalty. Tarita got greedy and tried to get into that breakdown, even though Dominique Dutoit was still in it. So she was penalised there. 2 minutes at the moment gone in this contest. Still very early on. Yeah, China were great, says Alden. Yeah, I don't think anyone anticipated the win that China were going to have in that match up against the Fijians. Like, to win at 40 points to 12 was insane because they came in as underdogs in that matchup. Now they're actually almost favourites up against the Canadians. Can we get over 40 points in this match, says Kat Legault? Ooh, it's going to be tricky because Australia, I think, they will score at least 20-something, right, if they're on song and they are playing well. But it's whether or not Ireland can get a few tries of their own. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, of course, going to be a very handy player to have. Looks like scrum reset here. And now getting ready for the second scrum. Now Ireland have managed to retain that ball. Going to the right-hand side here for Ireland. Nice step from Stacey Flood, one of the key players out there on the field for the Irish. Ireland pass well. Says Anoy. Another big run from Erin King. Ooh, Levi almost was able to get that turnover. And that's the thing. Every breakdown, Australia are at least trying to get one player in and looking for that interception. Nice pass on the outside. Emily Lane gets it away to Flood now. Good position at the moment for the Irish. Parsons tackled there. Oh, Nassar's just gone right and off her feet. Now back to the right. Eve Higgins in the starting lineup rather than coming off the bench has got a huge amount of strapping on that leg. Now back across to the left-hand side. Ireland slow but steady in their build-up, although that has caused isolation. Dominique Dutoit, her hands were down. Asking for the penalty. The only penalty would have been the one against her if she had continued going for the ball. Nice step from Eve Higgins. Madison Levi. Oh, that's a hard landing for Eve Higgins, who has slammed her head on the ground from Maddie Levi, dragging her down by her collar. Now back across, Ireland missing the pass there, but it does go out to Beth Parsons in the end. Another tackle being made by the Australians. Ireland back across here into the midfield. King inside ball to Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Big shot on Faith Nathan as she tries to run her way forward. Another step from Ireland. It's been about maybe 10 or 20 phases we have seen put together. I know 10 and 20 is quite far apart, probably 10 to 15 at the moment. Now another big fend from Burns. She can't get through. And Ireland, this is just a very patient build-up here. Stacey Flood looking for the gap, puts in the big fend. She will be 1 metre from the line. That was offside against Tarita. And it's actually going to be a high tackle that they go back for. Or is it? They want to have a look, but I believe that this was a penalty. Yes, it is. Now, who was it a high tackle against? I think they are just checking this to see whether or not Tarita came in from an offside position. Right, it's just going to be a penalty there. Good fend, but that is a high one from Tarita. And we look at that again. She's not back on side when she made that tackle. She has saved a certain try for the Australians. Does she get back on? That's offside. That is bad. Not behind the hindmost foot, and that was very lucky for Australia not to end up with 6 ladies on the field and a penalty try against them right there. You know the saying, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Now going off to the right-hand side here for the Irish. Oh, look at her charge forward. Here comes Faith Nathan with the big shot. Dominique Dutoy also joining the breakdown. One more pass. They win on the inside. Higgins will score it. And Ireland have struck first for themselves in this game. It's been all-out attack. They've had to pretty much go on the attack for the full last maybe 5 minutes or so. Eventually, they have managed to bundle their way over. Good inside ball. Finding Eve Higgins. They had to find the try line there. It's all right. We finally got a try. Says Eldon. Yeah, slams that ball down. Faith Nathan once again ends up taking a bit of a knock on her way down. The coach very happy with that one, but they have to keep on applying this pressure. How much will this fatigue the Australians? Eve Higgins, she has got it over, and that is now going to make the score 7 points to 7. And we've hardly seen Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe throughout this matchup. That tells you that if she can get herself more involved in the second half, perhaps it could be even closer. Now 1 try apiece, Ireland going to be kicking this one off. Now, the last thing you want is to kick this ball out on the full. So they have gone down the middle instead. Nicely taken by Faith Nathan. Now, Dominique Dutoy goes across to Tegan Levi. They have still got these super subs here for the Aussies. They will be able to bring Charlotte Kaslik off the bench alongside the veteran Shani Smale. Good patience from Ireland, says John. Yeah, it's very easy in that scenario to start panicking and try and find that miracle pass or the kick across field or something along those lines. But they just kept on waiting patiently. Nice stepping from Tarita. She gets through 2, but she will be tackled on the halfway line. Flood gets back up to her feet, but she's given away the penalty for no release. It's going to be the halftime siren. Looks like Tarita may have picked up some sort of injury here. And now be into the hands of Maddie Levi. Her first run of the day. Gets the offload away to Dominique Dutoy. Now rush defense from Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Siren is already blown for half-time. Levi gets driven down to the turf. Faith Nathan just manages to hang on to it, and so does Maddie Levi. Now Tegan, the pass on the outside. It's going to be a foot race for the corner to Rita. She elbows. Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe gets rid of her, and Tegan Levi will score right at the end of this first half for the Australians. And good pressure from Ireland, says annoying. This is a pretty good game. And that is when the Aussies usually strike, says Geza. Or this is when, right at the end of the half, when they know that they don't want to go into a game on a level field, they will look to just up that tempo a little bit more. And it was a great pass from Tegan Levi to get it out wide to Tarita. The missed tackle from Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe. Then just round the outside, Eve Higgins. Not quite able to catch up for that one. Now, just waiting to find out if this kick does go over. I believe it is missed, though, by the sounds of it. So it will be 12 points to 7. Yep, missed away to the right-hand side for Tegan Levi. She is disappointed. That one is missed, but at the moment, 12 points to 7 between these two sides. Wake-up call for Aussie, says John. Yeah, more than likely, I'm just going to have a very quick look here while we are at half-time. If we go like that, in fact, I can do it on my phone. I will see exactly who Australia will be playing in the next stage of the competition. Currently, quarterfinals-wise, I think we're in Pool B? We're in Pool C. I'm going to have to very quickly check. We are in Pool B. So, for the quarterfinals, Australia will have the last game and they will face the 7th seed. So, them and New Zealand will be on different sides of the draw right up until the final of the Olympics if they both make it that far. Now, first in Pool C could be quite intriguing because if that is France, then that would end up with France on the side of the draw of the Australians. Whereas if it is the USA, then that would mean that France would be on the side of the draw of New Zealand. And I feel like France are one of those dark horses in this competition just because, of course, we saw how much it did for the men's side playing in front of a home crowd. Is France any good season point? They've got some very good players. USA, though, actually also doing very well at the moment. So I would say either way, you're going to end up with one good side from those two on either side of the draw, which is good. We're going to have probably a very solid top 4 going on to the next stage. Like I said, these are only the pool games at the moment, and there have been plenty of hard-hitting affairs, some great action throughout day 1. Day 2, the weather has turned up very nice. Maddie Levi, they are showing her she's hardly touched the ball throughout that first half, and that is going to be the key to success, I should say, for the Irish in the second half. Now, it's going to be the penalty going the way of the Irish. Maddie Levi just ended up getting that ball back for her side, but then in the breakdown, Australia were a bit late getting there. New Zealand all the way, says Arihoni, and I should mention they are playing in the quarterfinals at 7 a.m. New Zealand time. Sorry for being late, and you might have already answered this. Could Ireland anyway qualify to the quarters from being top 3rd place, says Emily O'Shea? They certainly can, and with their points differential at the moment, for the Irish, they are sitting with a points differential of 29, so they should well and truly be safe. Like, it's just more of the question of will they qualify first in their group, which I'll just make sure the maths would be correct. In fact, they would qualify second in this group or third. Those are their 2 options, but either way, they will be through to the next stage, unless like some crazy scores happen in other groups, and we're talking like 60-0 and whatnot for those other teams. But now, nice pass away. Parsons there. Charges forward. This is a great chance for King. She's in space. Oh, Maddie Levi tripped. And that is great work in the breakdown from Tegan Levi, who manages to get the turnover for her side. And now Tia Hines. She will take the quick tap. It's a foot race. There's Maddie Levi. And they will not catch her, or will they? Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, she's going to get close, and she makes the tackle, but it doesn't matter, as Australia have still managed to get there just. And Argentina should have a women's team, says Anoy. It might be something in the future that they look into. I mean, we've seen the success of the male Argentine side for sevens. A great penalty won down one end of the field by Tegan Levi, and then scored down the other end of the field by Madison Levi. That one might be the difference maker now between these two sides. It's really weird watching people run in slow motion because it just looks like your body shouldn't move like that, if that makes sense. Like, it looks like every time you're stepping or anything, you're going to blow a calf muscle, which isn't the case. Definitely not for these athletes anyway, but for me, if I tried to run, I probably would. And get a try back, stay as close to the Aussies as possible. There's Eldon. Now 4.5 minutes remaining, and Madison Levi has now been taken from the field. She's got her 2 tries. Oh, that's well claimed from Soraya Parkey, but over the ball for Ireland. And they will win the penalty. Was Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe through the gate? Not too sure. Right. Looks like Stacey Flood might have some sort of injury. This is bad for Ireland because they have already lost Mulholland Rock. And Stacey Flood, she's been one of the best players out there on the field for the Irish. Ugh, I think it was just the way she fell. It might have been either the hip or the knee or something kind of went the wrong way. Ugh. Yeah, maybe an ankle or a... She's clenching at her bottom, I can say. So I would say maybe just an awkward kind of twist of the back or tweak of the backside for Stacey Flood, unfortunately. Hopefully she will be all right. 4 minutes remaining here. Eve Higgins will once again kick this one towards the touchline. Has managed to get it out comfortably on the halfway line now for Ireland. They need the next try in this contest or else they might just have too much of a mountain to climb if they don't score next in this game. Going to be thrown in. Wasn't the straightest, but in sevens it doesn't have to be. We have learnt recently. Tia Hines is also on the field and Bridget Clark for the Australians. Those are the two subs that they did make just before, but Tegan makes another tackle. Dominic Dutoy trying to get that rush defence going. Again, Tegan Levi, her hands were down this time. Also, there was no rolling away first from Australia before the jackal came in. It's going to be the scrum option again. Now, Australia, they have got a decent lead here, 12 points, but it isn't more than those 2 converted tries. So if Ireland can get themselves 2 quick tries scored here, would make all of the difference. But now, it's going to be the scrum feed. I think Stacey Flood is going to stay out there on the park. I've mentioned before that she is extremely tough and she will not go off the field unless she is dragged off it. Now, nice step from Amy Lee. Murphy Crowe, foot race. She's going to win it and she scores the try for the Irish. Great last-ditch effort from, I believe it was Tegan Levi. Oh, they just want to check this one by the sounds of it. I think that maybe there was a drop ball here. Does she look happy? She doesn't really. Amy Lee Murphy. Nah, she's going like that. She thinks she's dropped it. I think Tegan Levi has done just enough. Oh, it slips out of the fingers of Amy Lee Murphy Crowe. She knows that that was a massive mistake at this stage of the contest. Fast little Irish gal says annoy. But the worst thing is, it wasn't even the pressure from Tegan Levi on the arm or anything along those lines. That one's just slipped out for Amy Lee Murphy Crowe as she tried to adjust. She had it. And then because she just tried to extend a little bit further, that's when the ball did bundle out of the fingertips. Now, Tia Hines about to feed this ball in for the Australians. On their own in-goal area at the moment. Oh, a big shot coming in on Tegan Levi, and the penalty goes the way of the Irish. Levi stayed down a little bit. This is where Ireland should be taking this one quickly, and they have just done so. They've realised that with Levi down, they've got a chance of scoring. They will be 1 metre out from the try line now. Australia having to stay behind the hindmost foot. They were not able to do so. Amy Lee Murphy Crowe, I believe they already had the penalty advantage. Yes, they did, right out in front of the post. Damn, that's a shame. Says Eldon there, although they have still got another chance of getting a try here. Murphy is one of the best sevens players in rugby. Says Barry Power. Oh, yellow card. Tia Hines offside there for the Australians. That is now going to be, I think that's their first yellow, isn't it, in this match? They were very close to getting one down the other end of the field for Tarita being offside. 2 minutes remaining in this contest and 2 minutes left on that yellow card. Like they've just said, they have to try and keep this one speedily moving forward. Ireland trying their best to keep this game flowing, but as the subs are being made and as different situations happen, means that it will take a little bit longer to get this one set. Looks like Tegan Levi will make her way off the field, and Maddie Levi comes back on due to that yellow card. She could actually be the super sub that they needed in this case for the Australians, so I don't think it's exactly going to be a bad thing to have her back out on the park. Like they're saying there, all they've got to do is beat Dom Dutoy, but that ball's gone loose for the Australians. Now Amy Lee Murphy Crowe, she is going to target the wing of Madison Levi. About 15 metres out from the try line now. Another penalty advantage. Good shot coming in from Madison Levi, and they will go back for another penalty. They take the quick tap again here for Ireland. Emily Lane goes across. They have got Flood waiting out on the wing. They need the draw and pass, but they couldn't quite get a great defence from Faith Nathan. How many times left? Says in the chat, it is currently 1 minute remaining on the clock. And Ireland can still win, says Annoy. Try Higgins, says Barry. And their big run forward from Eve Higgins, and she will score it between the posts. And now Ireland get themselves back into the contest. That could be the big moment that they needed. And they have still got one lady advantage for the rest of this game. And Portia, as one and only champ for New Zealand, says Ricky there. And also over there, yes, finally, says Eldon. And yeah, they are within 7. If this kick does go over, which it certainly should, as it is straight out in front of the post. Yes, Ireland, says John there. You can see Amy Lee Murphy-Crowe, she was celebrating it in the background. Higgins did get that one over, 19 points to 14. Where was this performance yesterday, says Giza? That is a great question. Because up against GB, Ireland did just seem a little flat, didn't they, unfortunately? And, you know, that was one of those games that if they had won it, they would have had a really good shot at topping their pool if it continued in that same momentum. Valiant effort. So here's Eldon there. It's going to be kicked off. We've heard the siren sound. Means that for Ireland, they have to get the possession back into the pocket. Maddie Levi will kick the ball out, and Australia will win this game at 19 points to 14. But a great game between these two sides. Wasted too much from conversion to kick off. So here's Hanoi there. Yeah, 19 points to 14, the end score in this match. Charlotte Caslick did not make her way onto the field at all throughout this game. The next game that we are going to be doing, ladies and gentlemen, it will be USA versus France. Be sure to keep an eye out for that one. Then after that, it is New Zealand versus Fiji. That is kicking off at 2:30 a.m. New Zealand time. We have got there not a bad performance from us. Who will we get next, Hamish? So Ireland, more than likely, will come in as one of the third-ranked teams. So they will either face Australia again or... Hang on, we better do the maths quickly just to make sure that that is correct. But yeah, I believe that Ireland would find themselves facing either Australia again or New Zealand. But more than likely Australia, the way that it currently sits. So that's a tricky one. Points differential currently minus 24. Plus 24 for the Irish. So more than likely they will face Australia in the quarters, which is a pretty big rematch, and definitely because it's only just around the corner from taking place. But that would be at around 8:30 a.m. New Zealand time, I believe. And yes, says Eldon, the more competitive than I thought it would be, says Geza. Yeah, very close game between these two sides, which was fantastic to see. Let's go Ireland, says Ricky there. But yeah, it does look like it will be Australia versus Ireland, unless the only way that that doesn't happen is if Canada managed to beat... Who we got? That could change that. If China beat... Nah, that doesn't do it either, actually. It's the most likely. There's no real other scenario that would make it as likely as that one. But who knows? Maybe we see someone win a game by like 80 points, and that can somehow completely change it. It does look like at the moment Canada, China, and also New Zealand will be going through of Pool A, unless Canada lose badly to the Chinese. Then it could actually be Fiji if they manage to sneak a win over New Zealand. There are a lot of things that can happen, but someone with a minus 45 points differential could still go through at this stage of the comp. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. That next game is going to be kicking off in around 35 minutes or so, so we will be back for that one. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.